Australia's Prime Minister has urged voters to support the creation of an Aboriginal voice in lawmaking. Anthony Albanese made the plea as he revealed the wording of a referendum question on the issue. Australians will vote on it later this year. If it passes, it's going to set up a panel to advise Parliament on issues that impact the lives of Aboriginal people. If it's successful, the vote would mean an amendment to the Constitution.
This is a modest request. I say to Australia, don't miss it. Don't miss it. So I want this done for Indigenous Australians, but I want it done for all Australians. We will feel better about ourselves if we get this done. We'll just feel better. And you know what? I've said this, and this has been contested. But the truth is that Australia will be seen as a better nation as well by the rest of the world. That's just a fact.
Sarah Clark joining us now from Brisbane with more. Anthony Albanese there choking up when he was making those statements. Give us more detail about the final wording and what it actually means.
Well, it is a significant milestone on Thursday in this historic march towards constitutional change and constitutional recognition of the First Nations people in Australia and a voice, giving them a voice in Parliament. As we just heard, the Prime Minister, he was very emotional. He put out an emotional plea when he released this proposed final wording for the referendum. He choked up when he delivered this. Now, I should note the exact wording is for the referendum that will go to the Australian people, we believe in October this year, is a proposed law to alter the Constitution to recognise the first people of Australia by establishing an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice. Do you approve of this proposed alteration? Now, if Australia votes yes, then that wording will be included in the Constitutional. As we mentioned, an advisory body would be set up, and that advisory body would make representations to the executive government, but as well it would make a voice to federal Parliament. Now, behind the scenes here, or certainly from Australian perspective, there's been months of debate about this proposed wording and this voice in federal Parliament, and huge discussion about the exact wording. And the wording that was released today and approved by Cabinet has been tweaked from the earlier wording released by the Prime Minister. And the constitutional analysts say it was a subtle but significant change, but the tweak or the tweaked wording was designed to win over some of those critics.
From what you're saying, I mean, with the amount of preparation that's been done for this and the amount of research that's been done, and as you say, it's just a subtle tweak, one would assume that this is going to have a fairly smooth passage. But what has been the reaction?
Well, the Conservative opposition, that being the opposition led by the Liberal Party, Peter Dutton, who's the opposition leader, he has long asked for more detail. He said he doesn't want Australia to go to a referendum when there's not enough detail about not just the voice, but also the advisory body, and that's for the National Party, which is also the Conservatives. They've questioned whether or not they believe or we need another level of bureaucracy at a federal level. But the new wording does make it more specific. It says that the voice may make representations to Parliament and executive government, as opposed to just to the executive government. As for the Indigenous reaction, there's also been a lot of debate from the Indigenous community. We've had the high-profile First Nations people flanked the Prime Minister today in Parliament on Thursday. They believe that this is a key step and crucial to repairing the relationship between the Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. They also say that the hearts and minds can be cleared now of the oppression and the shame of the past if we do go to the referendum and if this referendum does get up. But we still have a long way to go. This is a historic step, but we expect the debate to go on, and we do believe that this proposed wording that's been approved by Cabinet will go to federal Parliament for the next stage of debate next week.
Sarah, thank you very much indeed. That's Sarah Clark talking to us from Brisbane.